Hi, and welcome back to the fifth episode. I swear it's the curse of like the four episodes of doing something, and then the fifth is like, you can't. Um, and plus it deviates from the original intention, which is make Sha scared. Now it's make Greta laugh, hopefully. Um, Also,
Shouldn't
I
be hard.
overslept. And the only reason why I woke up is because my cat went meow outside the
I
door, and
was
I'm like, shit. And then
I
I
was
read your
sitting
text,
here
and I
at
was like,
two.
shit.
I was sitting here at two, and I was just like, "Oh well, I'll play a game. She might hop on eventually."
No, 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 I did
I
not until
remember
now.
when I lived with you. You sleep like the dead.
That is true. But this doesn't happen usually. Like I'm doing every excuse guys make. Like this never happens.
Never, not at all. Actually, no. You used to only die completely when you'd done like that. I need to stress all of the excitement, and then you did like the overnight, and then you would like pound out this assignment, and then you would just collapse. And I would like check on you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Be like, are you okay?
Bitch, do
So
you
I was like,
die?
okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I've never met someone who slept till like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, unless they were very drunk the night before.
I was very technically, if you don't sleep, it's almost like getting very drunk.
Yeah, I have heard that actually.
It's almost like being on drugs. I do not condone drugs and don't not sleep for like 36 hours. But
Terrifying
I
when you
was
think
just
about the ideas of truckers.
oh this is why they're literally on drugs, and Australia has such a staunch drug testing policy when it comes to truckers in general.
Yeah, and also they actually have certain amounts of time where they have to stop. Like they have, because my uncle's a trucker, they
Uh-huh.
have gates that measures the distance between, and if they go through them too quickly, they get in trouble. So what they'll do, well, what my uncle does is he goes flat out to one gate and then just parks at somewhere just before the gate and goes for a nap because
Okay,
he
that
will be going too quickly.
see that's good for truckers. I feel like
It
Malaysia,
forces them to stop.
yeah, it's something that we don't have here. With it's not just truckers, it's also bus drivers. So they just willfully want to kill themselves, and I understand why. It's because the pay is shit. Well, the pay is kind of shit. And they have to drive miles and miles, and they don't get enough rest. And half of them are on drugs because they have to drive miles and miles, and the pay is kind of shit. But we don't have
Yeah, I
those
don't
kind of
know.
stop gaps to make sure they stay alive and make sure other people stay alive. Because when they get tired or drunk or high, the potential of murdering other people on the road is so much higher. And these people are not just driving inside the city limits, it's also driving up hills, places in Genting Highlands and Cameron Highlands, which is super windy, like crazy windy. And it's just every time there's an accident happen, everybody points fingers, and I'm like, no, the person you're supposed to point fingers at is who owns the buses or trucks. Like, which company owns this? Don't penalize the person driving. They're low wage workers.
Yeah,
They are literally trying to do their job, right?
yeah.
So the problem is the companies. We never put pressure on companies to step up their game. There's
Mm.
there's a whole slew of other problems right now when it comes to employment, and minimum wage, blah blah blah. This, like, Malaysia just went through a whole like minimum wage increase, but it is paltry compared to the percentage increase of inflation. Like, we just cannot
Yeah.
deal with it right now, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, we gave you an increase in minimum," and I'm like, "That's cow shit." I think I'll pause the politics talk and make you watch Ashley Gavin, who I just found. I don't know if she has any other specials, but she's funny as fuck. She is gay as all hell,
Mhm.
and and it's just she's so good. She's so good. She's so in your face, and I think I think her videos where she's heckling people, that is the best.
I love it when they backfire on hecklers.
I know, and she's so good. But the audio may not be the greatest, so I
Mm.
apologize in advance. She doesn't seem to have like an audio mixer where she records straight from the mix. She records from a camera behind a person, and sometimes that person has happens to be a heckler. I have watched so many. Um,
Okay.
so please enjoy this.
What? You can't do that! Did you guys invite Scotty? Scotty's yours? You met him on. No, don't make jokes. No, I know. If you met him on Hinge, you're bi. You're. Wow, we've unpacked a full crisis. No, it's okay.
Fusion.
No, we're gonna listen. I know exactly who you are, and I'm gonna try and keep you on track, and we're gonna make this the funniest little exchange ever. You and me, we are together. We are a team. I'm gonna be a little mean because it's a part of my persona, but I don't mean it. It's just for the audience. Okay, yeah. We are looking at each other. I haven't felt this way since I played soccer in the 8th grade. I'm like looking with this girl in a tight low pony. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? You can't do that.
Time
You
out.
cannot call timeout. Here's the thing. I'm topping you, okay? And my strap right now, it's 11 inches long. Okay. You be good. Why were you on Hinge matching with men if you are gay? I want a simple answer.
Because I play soccer and I recruit a bunch of straight men to my soccer team and we're in the championship.
So you're so gay that you play in a co-ed pickup soccer league with all your dyke friends and you're like, we need one guy on the field and we can't play. That you went on Hinge to recruit men for your dyke soccer team? Okay, so you see this obviously gay woman just radiating gay energy, and you match with her, you fucking idiot?
We get real energy. I think I fit.
Well, no, it's okay. This is my work. Let me drive, all right? Just let me drive. You're like, you've had too much to drink, and I'm gonna take us home, okay? That's what we're still gonna have a great time. It's so hard to make a top bottom. It really is. It's so fucking hard. But we're gonna get there. You're gonna get out of your head. You're just gonna relax. You're gonna be in the moment, okay? You found her on Hinge. You're like, cutie patootie, or does her profile say, I need men for my dyke soccer team?
That's it. I'm gay and I need guys for my soccer team.
Okay. And you said yes.
I need cardio.
Come back.
Cardio and sexuality is fluid. I identify as needing cardio. You're literally on there like looking for pussy. You got your hat backwards for a reason. You're like, I'm gonna get in there, you know? And you're like, oh, soccer. And have you played any games?
We had 2 seasons.
Two full seasons. So you guys are like les bros now. You guys like are fun. You have fun together.
My parents.
He met your parents? How many soccer dates had you been on before you decided to introduce him to mom and dad? Did you bring him home to mom and dad and they were like, thank fucking God, I knew it. Scotty seems like a tool, but honestly, we will take anybody at this point.
I'm from the South. I brought him back south.
Right, so this just further proves my point. Okay, and where are you from?
DC.
You traveled to meet her parents? Why?
There's a lake house.
It's a lake house. Ah. You have photos of the lake house on your soccer Hinge profile? You holding up a fish, being like, do you play soccer with me? I got a boat. That's just how you get men. Men are using their logic to get straight women, when really gay women need to recruit allies via bro logic. This is wild. I had so much new material I was gonna do. And it's just, oh, now what is your name? I know you're a huge podcast listener, and I'm so grateful with your little tight bun that you listen. And that is your right. That is totally within your right. And I don't need you. But no, I do. Patreon.com/WHDS.
Thank you so much.
Wild would that be?
That
to
is
just have that
hilarious.
happen.
When I watched that the first time, oh my god, what is happening? No,
Let's stop. I stopped.
stop. Okay, well, we'll go back to Julia Shiplet later, but I think when I watched this, I watched and I quoted the cardio line so many times. Like just you, what is your sexuality? I'm into
Yeah.
cardio. Like, what? Excuse me. And then okay, because actually Gavin is like gay. She's gay. She is so gay.
Yeah.
When she talks,
No
she reminds
kidding.
me of uh what is his name? Jason Mewes.
Don't know.
You know Clerks? Jay and Silent
Mm.
Bob.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the blonde guy.
Oh yeah.
When she talks, she reminds me so much of Jason Mewes, but like of a smarter, wittier, quicker Jason Mewes, and I love that because I unironically love Jason Mewes. I even made a D&D character of him, but is a woman and a tiefling. But that's besides the point. So when I watched this, I was like, oh my god, it's Jason Mewes. And she's so funny. I've watched her, I wouldn't say entire back catalog because a lot of it is just repeats of like her stand up. Um and I don't remember if I saw like a full length thing, which I would like to. I don't think she's ever going to come to Malaysia because first of all she's gay, um, and I don't know
Yeah.
what kind of
That's a
reach she
buffer.
has in Malaysia. Um, and there's no chance in hell that I'm traveling all the way to the U.S. anytime soon. If I would, I would like to catch her shows amongst various other things, including food in the South. Um, but but that is like one of the things that she does. She just heckles, and this just happens to be my favorite one.
Mm.
And
It's
there's
like
so
it reminds me. You know when Jimmy Carr does his stand up and he has the bit where hecklers get a free pass and they can make the thing where they want and have a go at him. He goes, "Come on, yes, right," and he'll go, "Yes, right," and snap back at them so hard that they wish they didn't. Like it is one of my favorite things to watch, and it's how I like to judge a comedian as to how they deal with hecklers.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
I think there's a thing, um, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, where if you were doing a show in like an official place, like at the at the theater, you're
Mm.
not supposed to heckle. Like heckling is
Mm.
not something Americans uh do on a general basis like back then before
Yeah.
comedy was cool.
Well, Jimmy sort of explained that, and he said, now that you're in the higher up places, you're not supposed to have hecklers. So that's why he does that. That's it. It's the heckling amnesty. Um,
Mm,
because he says he grew up, and when he was starting out, he would do dive bars, and yeah, he used to cop that a lot. And he goes, I don't get it as much these days, so I do a heckling amnesty, and let's have a back and forth. And so he invites everyone to have a crack.
yeah, I think that's the best part of comedy, like just to watch. Not the hecklers. The hecklers can like go die in a hole, but sometimes like a good heckle, and I don't mean like oh your mom, like those kind of like subpar hecklers need to just chill. It's not
Mm.
about you. This is a comedy show with a comedian. It's not about you who bought the tickets. Just sit down. It does make me quite irate when I have to listen to hecklers and they don't have any meaningful input. So when I hear Ashley Gavin speak to hecklers and she picks them out of the crowd, she will hear something and it's relevant and she's like, "What? Okay, okay, no, we're gonna stop my set for a while. We need to talk. Like, let's sit down. Okay, what's your name?" And there's one where she heckles and I believe the most unhinged doctor, and she's not even a doctor. She's a medical student in second year or something like that. And she's like, "Oh, I'm a doctor." No, you're a medical student in second year. You haven't even started your husbandship yet. Chill out. She doesn't say that. That was me in my head. You should watch it. It's funny. But I don't remember why I picked Julia Shiplet. I just remember I laughed about it. So we're gonna watch it together as I rehash it in my brain, and then we'll talk about it after. Okay?
So the Julia Shiplet is unavailable for me.
Okay, we'll skip. We'll skip that.
I apologize. That was the only one on my thingy that came up, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder if it's just unavailable for me."
Oh,
It is.
so more time for Liz Meele then. Okay. Okay, that makes sense why it just skipped. I understand now. Okay, so Liz Meele, I remember coming across her a really long time ago. I watched her stand out. I loved it, but I didn't subscribe to her channel. So I never got updates. And then just recently, while I was going through looking for more and more comedy, she popped up again. And I was like, wait, I've seen this one. And I remember really liking it. Why didn't I subscribe? So I hit subscribe and I just scrubbed through most of her videos. And she has her entire stand up, like the full special, which I'm going to show some. This from a different one. The full special is below that, but also very unhinged. Like very, you need to watch it. So I'll make you watch it.
Okay, boss.
My best friend's closet last week. Is that charity work? I'm gonna write it off as such. What you should know about our friendship, we both travel for a living, so it's kind of rare that we're in town at the same time. But when we are, I usually go over to his place and we go for walks. I walk my friend, essentially. And he's always doing errands in between these walks. And I don't want to say what he was doing a couple weeks previously was folding laundry, because that wouldn't be accurate. Because what I watched my friend do was take all of his clean socks and shove them into a grocery bag, and all of his clean boxers and shove them into a grocery bag, and then he opened his closet, which looked like a cartoon closet. Like skis came out, and a basketball he's never played with fell out, and a child he didn't know he had escaped. And then he shoved these bags into the closet, and he quickly shut the door. And I was like, no. No. So I took it upon myself to help him because I read that book, The Magical Art of Tidying Up. It's now a Netflix show. Okay, if you don't know anything about it, all you need to know is this author wants you to have a conversation with all of your possessions and then get rid of most of them. It's written by a Japanese woman that has no friends. I know she has no friends because there's a chapter called Sentimental Things. And what she suggests you do with sentimental things, if you're not touching it every day, if it's not an active part of your life, she wants you to thank them for their services and then throw them away. She's a heartless bitch that has never felt love. She had some great ideas, and I try to implement them on my friend. So the thing she's known for, the thing that kind of made her famous is what she does with clothes. So she wants you to take everything out of your drawers, everything out of your closet, pick up each garment individually, and ask, does this bring me joy? If it does, you keep it. If it doesn't, you get rid of it. My friend did something a little differently. What he would do is pick up every t-shirt and give me the oral history behind every shirt, and then fight for its livelihood. Shirt. He's like, Michelle gave this to me 3 years ago when we were in Toronto. It never fit me and I never liked it. And I was like, great, donate pile. He's like, as a gift. Can't get rid of it. It was a gift. Yeah. If a woman that doesn't like you gave you a shirt that you've never worn, that you don't enjoy, you live in a studio. You don't have room for hateful, misfitting memories. Give it to someone who needs it. 200 shirts. He did that for 200 shirts. It's like I had a front row ticket to Shirts, the one-man show. One of the most exhausting experiences of my life. He texted his mom to tell her what I was doing. She texted me back directly and thanked me like I was a religious figure. She's like, what can my family do for you? To thank you for what you've done for our family. And can you clean his desk? I was like, no more pro bono cleaning. You've released him into the wild too early. I've seen his shower. He was never ready. 34 was too soon.
He was never ready. Which is accurate for a lot of guys. Not even joking.
Oh my.
Not
Oh
even
my
joking.
god, yes.
Oh my god. I lived with a guy back in Melbourne.
Hey, I remember him.
Yeah. Will not name names. But
No.
remember the time he asked us how to wrap a box?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I was like, how can you not figure that out?
It's a square. It's a square. Just even if you didn't know how to do that origami shit, just take 6 pieces of square paper and wrap them together.
Yeah.
It's not
I
that hard.
still remember the time when your scooter broke down and he had a bunch of all his friends over and the
Oh,
two
they're
girls were fixing
so-
your scooter on the floor and all the guys were like, "Oh yeah, okay. We're just gonna go sit on the couch."
They're so fucking useless. Like, okay, here's the thing. I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna name races, but why? Why are the boys? I'm not gonna say men because clearly they haven't achieved that status yet. There are very good men of my people out there, but these particular boys, I question. Like Liz said, he is not ready to be released in the wild.
Yeah, no, they haven't had that challenge yet. It's like when I work with some kids, and I don't know if I've mentioned it before on here for anyone, just for context. I work in foster care. I deal with a lot of kids that are aging out of foster care, or out of home care is what it's more politically correctly referred to as these days. Unless you're American. Uh, when they're 17, they think they know everything, and I'm like, oh, you are gonna have reckoning. Oh, I would love to get front row tickets.
I
Like,
think, didn't you?
oh, just, and especially 17-year-old boys. You can talk to the girls, then they will listen and take on your advice because usually they're like little balls of anxiety, thinking like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna get into uni. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And so you talk to them and they take on advice or whatever. But the boys are like, no, I'm just gonna go do this. And you're like, okay, but what if that doesn't work out? What's your backup? Like, are you gonna live here? What do you do? Oh, I'll figure it out. You're like, oh, I have one kid tell me that a workplace was too strict because you had to show up on time. And I was like, you are really gonna have a reckoning.
It's like the bare minimum is to be able to make sure you, the human being, does not perish. And somehow we did not impart a great half of the population that ability. And somehow they don't learn this unless they go join the army, or they go through some form of very um systematic training, like
Mm.
manly systematic training, instead of stuff that you can learn at home, like when mom or your sisters whom have been forced into slavery by marital rules and stipulations have to do the cooking or the cleaning. Fucking
Gender
help,
roles
la
just in
la
general.
la. Just help. Sit down. It doesn't take like that much effort to sit down and help fold clothes.
Hmm. I will admit, like, I don't think personally, like, because I've got a brother, I don't think he was that bad, but I've met some boys that are that bad.
Oh yeah, I've met them. Like, my brothers are not terrible. That's because when we were younger, my mom would be like, "Okay, girls, let's go to the kitchen." The girls would turn to the brothers and be like, "Why do they get to watch TV?"
Mm.
So now they also help in the kitchen. My dad
Well,
cooks.
there was only two of us, so it was like you're either doing this or you're doing this, and we would like paper scissors rock and get to choose. Uh, so like my brother's favorite thing was to do the toilet, and I hated it because it was gross. And he was like, I don't care. It takes me 5 seconds to fix that bitch. So he knows how to clean a toilet. Like he can clean,
I
and he's
remember being at your house and just cleaning the toilet.
and what?
There was one time, it was over Christmas because that was the only time I was over at your place, and
Yeah.
there was like a stain on the toilet, and I was like, no, and I started cleaning it,
Oh my god.
but I didn't tell anyone, so it was just clean, and then I left.
Yeah.
Like, good job, go me. Let's go eat some snacks, that kind of thing. Like just secretly cleaning.
Secretly hustling. Meanwhile, I'm probably sitting outside going, man, she's been in there a while. I wonder if she's okay. I hope she didn't fall. Like,
You would hear if I did, but it was like ninja cleaning. I think you were playing was it Fable?
maybe.
I can't remember. This was a while back. But see, division of labor is fine. It means that everybody is taking up a a piece of the work done because it's also your house. Like you live in it,
Mm,
therefore you take care of it. Like the onus
mm.
of housekeeping is not only beholden to a woman.
Yeah, I thank my dad for that actually. Like, he was a very strict cleaner, but it didn't matter if you were a guy or a girl, you had to clean.
Hmm.
And like, if he came home and he was cleaning and you weren't cleaning, then all hell would break loose. Like, you had to help with the labor of the household because you chose to live there.
Yep. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Um,
Hmm.
the next video is actually like a full length video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna jump from like bit to bit, so
Okay.
y'all can watch it yourself because it's 50 minutes long, and we don't have that kind of time.
I wish we did, but we don't.
We don't. I woke up late. That was my bad. Like legit. Like this never happens. This never happens to me.
Normally,
You don't
you beat
understand.
me online, and so I'm running around going, "Fuck, fuck, 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 fuck."
Exactly. And the thing is, I don't even have like you don't have access to anybody that's in my house to be like, hey, wake this bitch up. Whereas I can
No.
message Taylor. I mean, not Taylor. Who the fuck is Taylor? Taylor Tomlinson is also a very funny comedian. Tyler.
I was just watching her. I was thinking about her just before when we were talking about smart ass funny women.
See, I love Taylor, but she has a Netflix special, so I don't show off people with Netflix specials.
No, they don't need it. They've been paid enough.
Exactly. So just watch Taylor. She has, I think, a new special that I have watched, and it's funny. It is
Yes.
funny. I love her so
I
much.
I did cry laughing when she was like, when I got engaged and my lizard lady brain was like, two, level up.
She has a new one that just dropped like last week or something.
Yeah. I actually watched that one first and then went back and watched the old one because I'd never bothered to sit down and watch it.
Oh, she's so good. Also, she is the protege of Whitney Cummings.
Don't know when it comes.
Okay, you need to watch Whitney Cummings. Like I,
Yes.
my comedy, style is now mostly angry 30+ year old women.
Oh,
or
gee, I wonder
women
why that's relatable for you.
and women who are on that cusp of becoming a hag, essentially,
Hmm.
like a woke ass hag who's just like, no, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. Fuck you guys.
Actually, the one I watched recently that made me laugh was I think it was Ali Wong.
Oh, I love Ali Wong. She is another one who's just like, I'm done. Her line
She
where she's
made
like,
me laugh.
um, I don't want to lean in. I want to lie
Lay
down. And,
down.
and I was like, yes, yes.
And then when she does the later special, she's like, "He's got my life. He gets to lay down."
In the part where she goes, I just want to realize my full potential, which is to be a circle with eyelashes. And I'm like, that is some life goals. Yes, I agree. Because when I was younger, I am if we're following the astrology of psychology, which is MBTI, the Young test, I am ENTJ. I'm quintessentially an ENTJ. I am go 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 go. And productivity is life. And then I turned 30 plus and I was like, I am tired. Productivity is still life, but it's my version of productivity. So like 2 times speed everything, consume um as much as you can, become the fountain of knowledge, come up with random facts, and then sprinkle bullshit facts to bamboozle your friends and watch their face just get betrayed. But but the whole chase money hustle culture just doesn't jive with me anymore, and I just can't deal with it.
I've never been big on money. You know that. I'm
That's true.
fucking horrible.
Like like materialism is not something that I strive for.
Mm.
And also I'm not the most beautiful person in the world because that's not something I strive for either. Like I don't, if it's not me, I won't do it. But that's besides
Agreed.
the point. Let's watch some Miele.
Attack.
Oh, all right. All right. Size and know my shoe size like they do in the movies. But nobody sits an adult New York City woman down and teaches you the truth about gay men, which is that they're just dudes. Did you know that? They're just dudes like any other dude I've ever met. I'll give you an example. When I was like 19, 20 years old, I was at a party with my friend Ryan. Out of nowhere, Ryan grabbed my boobs, started shaking them, and laughing. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Don't touch me. And he's like, whoa, calm down. I'm gay. I was like, how's your gay make me not molested? Right? Like, there's no rule like must have boner for me to feel uncomfortable. Don't touch me. I've never had to tell a lesbian that. Because they were raised right.
Okay. This is absolutely true. I feel like just because somebody is not attracted to that particular sex doesn't give you access to their bodies. I know this is supposed to be a comedy thing, but okay, let me just, thanks for watching. I just need to reply. um like, you are not privy to other people's bodies.
No.
So I don't understand why. It happens to women with gay folks, and it happens to all people with disabilities, with general human beings who are like, I'm just gonna touch all your stuff. I'm gonna be in all your space. I'm gonna ask you all the questions, and I'm like, why do you ask
Want to
me
touch my
those?
hair?
Oh, that would be the African Americans, or anybody with frizzy hair, like immediately to reach out and like just touch. Like, no, they're
People
not cats.
people did that to me. People did that to me growing up because I have bouncy curls. And so when I have a particularly bouncy curls, I quite frequently would have people go, "Pating, pating," and like just want to play with my curls. Which I'm a pretty open free person. If you tell me you want to touch them, okay. Like, don't just sneak up on me. But because I was raised with that mentality, I thought it was just okay to touch sometimes people's hair. And I very quickly, as growing up, found out that it wasn't when I touched one of my teachers was Fijian and I loved his afro. And so I leaned over and I said, I really love your hair and went to touch it. And he got quite upset and said, in my culture, you take people's hair to perform black magic on them. And I was like, okay, not doing that. Didn't realize I was going to offend you. My apologies. Um, and so since then, obviously, I've learned that lesson. But like, still, I have people coming up to me all the time and just touching my hair without like, by the by, can I just, your hair is really pullable and I want to touch it. Just give me a heads up.
I don't understand like why people do that. So like it's a segue to Stardew Valley for a while. I downloaded a mod on Nexus that changes Penny's interactions because you know there's one bit where she pushes the old guy in a wheelchair out of the way to help him sort of take mail from the mailbox,
Hmm.
and that was so offensive to me. And he got offended
Oh,
for the correct reasons, but the sequence of stuff that you're supposed to pick is all wrong. So I uploaded a mod that changes that to something more realistic. Eventually I'll get to play it, but in our Sunday Stardew games, eventually I'll make friends with Penny or what is his name? George. And eventually that will
hmm.
happen, but it pisses me off so much. There was one time I went to a cafe. The cafe had a step, and usually I will enlist a person vocally to help. But this guy was on the phone, and I guess he tried to be a hero, but he didn't tell me he wanted to help, so I didn't have time to brace myself. He just lifted the front of my scooter. Um, and because I wasn't aware, I actually fell backwards
Yeah,
and hit the floor. I was so shocked. I was like, what the fuck?
that's fucked.
The thing is, he never said anything. Yes, I wanted help, but like I have to brace myself. What the fuck? And he was on
Yeah,
the
because
phone, so
like,
I I
you,
get you're trying to help, but words exist. We are a culture that is very language proficient. All you had to do was,
if
"Hey,
he
can
was
I
to
help
get your
you?"
attention and then be like, gesture, like with the handlebar, like, do you want me to, if he was on the phone, like, then you would have the knowledge. Oh, yeah, he's gonna lift up the front of my scooter.
Yeah, and I could have braced myself or at least pushed my
Yeah,
body forward so it's leverage, right? I
yeah.
I
Like,
fell. I saw his face. He was shocked. I hope he doesn't do it again because obviously this is what happens when you don't ask for permission, right?
yeah.
It's
Like,
all
I
well and
feel
good
like,
that you want to help. I get it, but ask.
yeah. Like, even not in a sexual manner, just touching people's bodies. Some people, and most people, probably fine, like, with you giving them a hug or a pat on the back, or like with me, touching my hair, I'm okay with it, but you have to tell me first.
Exactly.
Like,
Like
that's my only thing.
just people remember it doesn't matter what gender you are, what your sexual preference is, how you live your life. Ask.
Yeah,
Consent
I
is
would
a thing.
never touch your wheelchair unless you were like, hey, yeah.
It's like, can you help push this? Okay.
Or even when I used to ride your scooter, I'm like, hey, can I do that?
Yeah, because
Because, like,
it's like
that's
it's a
yours.
fun ride. Like if I'm not using it, go ahead. But there are
Heck yeah,
people who
I'm pretty
just
sure I ate shit on that one time.
I eat shit all the time when I am not in the right frame of mind after some libations. Um,
No comment.
no comment. The crunch sound was palpable.
Ugh.
What was I gonna get? Uh,
People stealing your scooter.
yeah. So I'll be on the scooter driving somewhere, and there'll be some ne'er do well people who pass by and be like, "Oh, that's so cool! I want one," and I have this seething rage and the want to just chop off their legs, and I'm like, "Yeah, now you can go get one yourself," and they assume that it's a toy, and I'm like, "No, a it is a mobility equipment that costs a lot of money. It's I'm not even joking because of the
Yeah, like,
exchange rate and how poorly Malaysia is doing financially, the exchange rate is ridiculous. And my scooter, I for anybody who needs to know, it's called a travel scoot. It folds up. It's wonderful. It's a three-wheeler. So if you don't have like a good, at least decent core control, or if you turn too hard, it might fall. You might fall, and
Also, back
things will
up.
happen.
She's not too heavy. Like, I can pick it up, but you need some core strength to pick it up.
Exactly. And it's a chore, right? But also it's light and it's very expensive. I cannot even. I remember telling someone the price and they sort of balked. And when that is a secondhand Kanchil. Kanchil is a very small old car that they don't make anymore. It's also like a tin can essentially, but that is the price of a secondhand Kanchil. And I was like, yes, unfortunately for me, I need it. It is not a toy. And this different situation where the person didn't ask me about what it is, blah, 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 was back in Melbourne. I went to the museum. Is it the museum?
Yeah, there is a museum. Yeah.
No, the arts one. It's next to I have forgotten
Oh, the
all these places.
NGA.
Yes, NGV. The NGV. I went to the NGV.
NGV. Sorry.
And I wanted to rock up in my scooter, right? And the guard gave me like a death stare, and I looked at him and I'm like, "What?" He looked at me and he's like, "Do you need that?" And I was like, "What the fuck kind of bullshit question is that?"
I was literally about to ask you if you've ever had that happen because, like, I feel like people just because they can see that you have legs automatically assume that you don't need the thing.
Exactly. Like, I said yes, unless you want to carry me to see all the exhibits, which I'm perfectly fine as well, I guess. And then he it you know that face men make when they're wrong but they don't want to admit it, and I hate it so much. It's the ego face, and I'm like, oh, it's so
Or
vexing.
the sulky I've been caught out, but I ain't gonna say sorry.
Yeah, that one. Instead of apologizing, he just tells me to carry on. Like he waves me away, and I'm like, oh. But
Yeah,
there
like
was.
you on your scooter, like, and this is just as a someone who is able, you would not see or think to see that there is a disability with you if you were just scooting around.
Mm,
But like to see you stand, then you're like, oh, yeah, okay, she needs that to move. I don't understand how people can't compute that there are people like that in the world.
um, it's a problem with invisible disabilities as well. Like people assume that if you can stand up or you can do normal things that you're not disabled. And I'm like, no, disabled people can have functional lives. It's just
Mm.
some part of our bodies don't mesh well with the standard um reality, and we have things that we have to use. So, yes, we look normal. What do you expect us to look like? Like sad with a blanket? I can do that too, but it's very uncomfortable. I don't like being sad. Also, whatever you're doing with your headphones, it's making my ear very ticklish. What is happening?
Wait, you said it?
It's very crunchy.
Oh, is my mic actually working?
Is it? It's not louder. It's
Well, I don't
just
know.
crunchy.
Is it still going?
Yes.
I'm not doing anything. Is it my mic? Hang on, I'll unplug this mic and see if that helps.
Okay.
Oops, wrong one. Hold up.
Technical difficulties.
Okay. Is that
Oh,
better?
oh, that's much louder.
I pulled out my headphone mic. I don't know what's wrong with my headphone mic, but I've basically got the laptop half sitting on my lap while I've got my projector running because that's how I have my screen.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
Totally,
that I
totally.
can like lean over and yell into my laptop.
Fair.
But like I don't know, like in regards to the disabled thing, I've like obviously never been disabled. I have had invisible illnesses like with trigeminal neuralgia and stuff. And I don't know if it's this thing with invisible illnesses, but you feel all the time like that you have to prove it. So if you go out and have fun, if you're feeling and it's a good day, you feel guilty because people then go, well, obviously you're not that sick. And I'm like, bitch, did you see me yesterday? Like, I actually had someone pull me up on one of those things when I had this, because one of the things that I chose to do while figuring out everything and getting medication and all that, because I couldn't do much. If I went out and physically did a lot, then the next day my face would be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go and I bought myself a little model sushi house, and I would sit on my chair, and that would be the thing that would hold me still, because I just got bored of watching Netflix. It was
Yeah.
horrible. So I made this little model sushi house, and I was really proud of it when I finished it and showed it to people. And I remember someone saying to me, well, that could be taken the wrong way, because if you're well enough to do that, why aren't you going to work? And I didn't know how to take that, and I felt guilty, and I'm like, well, why should I have to feel guilty about this? I don't know.
I it does feel a bit like being a girl in like Metalhead space where you wear a t-shirt of a band and then the guy will come up to you like, "Oh yeah, you're a
Name their top
you're
5.
yeah, you're a fan of blah blah blah. Name their top 5 songs." And I'm like, "What?
Name
Oh,
this album that was made in this year.
you don't you don't look disabled. Are you sure you're disabled?" And I'm like, "I I yeah, that it feels terrible, but at the same time, for me, being as aggressive as I am, being as confrontational as I am, it's a chance for me to like, I have time. And because you
Knock you down
approached me,
several pegs.
I'm gonna assume that you have time as well. So I guess class is in session. Congratulations, you are my first student. Sit down. I hope you're
I
taking
don't know.
notes.
Oh man, see, I don't know. Like, obviously, because I've never had to deal with anything like that before. It really, like, when someone said that to me, it really fucking upset me, and I was like, wait, why do I have to prove that I'm fucking sick? Like, you've got my doctor's notes, literally, because I worked with them.
Uh huh.
And I'm like, what?
I think
Because I could.
that is the worst when you work with them and on some days they see you absolutely wrecked and on other days you're absolutely fine. Um there was one instance where I was in college doing my A levels and I had fallen in the cafeteria and I had my friends sort of help me up and this teacher, this adult, mind you, I was at 19, I was a baby Shah, um, on the floor, instructing people on how best to help me. So get a chair. I need two people on either side so that you guys don't pull a muscle while picking me up because I'm quite heavy set. Um, and I'm also a sack of potatoes
It's
because
heavy set.
I don't have
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say,
muscles.
you don't have the muscles, yeah.
Yeah, I can't just tense up my muscles to get up. Like I can't do that. So you're literally lifting like a very, very drunk person or a very large sack of potatoes. Um,
Imagine a child fighting you,
yes.
except that it's so much more than just a child weight.
Or a very large cat that doesn't want to be picked up.
Yeah, that's going to the vet.
Yeah. And I just turned into mush. So this teacher comes up and says and asks, "Oh, what happened?" And then I explain, "I fell. I have a leg problem." And then he looks at me dead in the eyes, right? And casts a sweeping glance across all the people that are trying to help me. And he goes, "Oh, but you could walk yesterday."
Go fuck yourself.
And I'm just sitting there like, "Hold up. A lot of people could walk yesterday. Hell, you could walk yesterday. I just have to cut off your legs." There's a lot
Me
of
get
violence
ah.
when I
Like,
think
I
about
mean,
people like this. Like I want to
it,
take away that which you think you are beholden to. No, not beholden to, that you have because you think it's so easy. Like, I just want to
mm,
take it away from you. I'm in that respect, I'm a horrible person. I accept that.
Well, they also think that it couldn't happen to them because there has to be this arbitrary reason why that couldn't happen to them. Like they do yoga or they eat healthy or they, I don't know, like the amount of fucking shit that I got recommended while I was sick. And I was just like, bitch, it's a nerve condition.
That's not how
There
it
is,
works.
that's literally not how it works. And now they're all like, oh, I'm so glad you got over it. And I'm like,
It's not
you are
getting.
aware I'm still on medication, yeah? Yeah? Yeah?
Some people, like people, if you're watching, please don't do this. If you see somebody who is not obviously disabled, if they're having a bad day, it's not your job to ask them to prove themselves. Please.
Mm.
Like, that's
Or
not how
even
it
someone
works.
who was sick. Like, I don't mind you telling me, oh, you look like you're feeling better. That's great. That's fine. But don't be like, oh, I'm so glad you got better. Because I'm still taking medication for this thing that if I don't take my medication feels like lightning through my face.
Exactly. Like, when that happened, I was like, what the
Mm-mm.
fuck?
I know, I didn't realize it was a thing, which is like apparently very common.
Can you just say it again, the condition?
Trigeminal. So trigeminal is the nerve that is the point. It's like down and across from your eye, like in line with your ear.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's the trigeminal nerve, and it is neuralgia. So
Neuralgia.
that is when the nerve is inflamed,
Uh-huh.
or something is causing a swelling in that nerve, and so it hits that nerve constantly and basically sparks live wires through your face
Oof.
of nerves.
Would you
Yeah,
would you call it a rare disease? Is it?
yeah, it's considered quite rare. When I got it with Bell's palsy, which is considered very rare.
Uh-huh.
To the point where my neurologist said, "You don't have this," and then he asked me all the symptoms, and he goes, "Oh, you have this," and I'm like, "Yeah, no kidding." Um,
That is another
um,
issue that I would talk about, but it's gonna take all the time and all the effort.
oh
Doctors who
yeah.
know everything or think they know everything
When
and
I
deny your condition.
when I did research on trigeminal neuralgia, it is quite rare, but not like one of the super rare ones. But I did do research into the pain, and it is apparently one of the most painful things. It's actually called the suicide disease because people who don't have the medication work tend to take that option.
Oh, okay.
Hmm, that's a little light-hearted stuff.
Yeah. I
My meds work.
yes, and I'm so glad that you have it. I
Fuck it,
think
me too.
that's also why I like stand up because you watch things and they say stuff and you're like, I relate to that, and then it builds an entire other conversation based on that, as
But
we
not
have
only
done.
they take their darkest moments and they make it funny. Like I relate so hard to doing that. Like when what's her name? Taylor Tomlinson,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "Did you know that if you accidentally get cut off on the suicide hotline, they don't call you back?" And she was I'm like,
I
"What?"
remember hearing that and I'm like, are you for real?
Yeah, and she's like, I was just sitting there going, "Are you kidding me?" Like, obviously, she's been through this and she goes through the story of it. And I'm like, man, that is fucked up. But she's like, the entire time I was sitting there, I was thinking, that's fucked. Do they go through training? Like, and you're gonna lose a couple. But I have to go and tell you, like, we've got a high volume of people, and you got to take out all the white girl names who probably have the privilege to stand it. So just cut these ones off, like Megan, Taylor, Lindsay. Like, it's just like, oh my god.
I loved the delivery of that. I was just sitting there because I don't have ideation. I never had ideation. I have pragmatic views on what's the most unbannable way to say this? Um assisted going to sleep forever.
Assist at nighttime.
Assisted night time. Yes. The milk before forever sleep. Um
Mm-mm-mm.
I'm a big proponent of this because if you're suffering a disease that is literally just making you miserable and you don't have access to correct medication, and you decide I want to go night night forever, that is on you. The person who is trying to keep you alive is doing that out of selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's a good thing to want to go night night forever. I'm saying it is on your honest. It's your decision. Sometimes it hurts so much.
On saying that though, for anyone who has mental illness and depression and anything like that, like I've been there, and uh, even though we do talk about the assisted 99 times, uh, please believe me that 99 times and the ideation for that, it does get better the longer you push it off and the more you get help.
Yes,
So, you know.
there are very specific situations where I would condone it. Like if you're on
Oh, of
stage 4
course.
cancer or stage 3 and you don't have access to medication, or you're in absolute pain, or you don't have a good life anymore. There's
I
literally no
saw
point.
I saw a Louis Theroux one where this woman was almost, I think she wasn't quite a quadriplegic, but she could have some movement in her right hand. And Louis Theroux was doing a documentary on the assisted 99 times.
Hmm.
And her partner had passed away. I don't know, I can't remember what tragic thing had happened. He was the sole person who could assist her in her life, and she was also suffering a can't say the
Degenerative.
word. Thank you. Um, Disease, and I believe mental was affected as well. So she
Hmm.
was also getting whether it was Alzheimer's or I can't remember, but to the
Hmm.
point where she would have then literally had to go under government care.
Hmm.
So there was a company. It was in the UK, and they are a charity operated thing, but they go out and teach them. But it's got all these clauses, so they can't like touch them. They can't assist them in any way other than giving them the knowledge of how to do said thing. To then teach them how to do the assisted night night before it
Hmm.
gets too bad.
I
It
have
was
a huge problem with that. Like, you should make it accessible. I know it shouldn't be accessible to everyone, but it should be
mm.
something that is available um,
I agree
as
to a point
palliative care.
because yeah, my mum's in palliative care, and look,
Yeah.
I agree to a point because I've always heard my mum arguing, okay, well, how do you police it?
Oh yeah,
Um,
policing it
be-
is terrible, but you also have to
mm,
remember that a lot of people are going the roundabout way to uh, get assisted night night time. Um,
mm,
I know this because I have checked it out. Like there is a life plan there that I have mapped out for myself because I don't want to be in bed forever. Like
mm,
there comes a point in a person's life who has spinal muscular atrophy where things will go south, and it will go south very fast, and then
mm,
all your autonomy disappears. Your life is now bedridden. You can't move. You will get bed sores. It's a terrible life. Somebody's going to be there to wipe your ass, take your piss. uh you cannot speak because guess what, your mouth and your tongue is a muscle. um
mm.
and I would like to not be there when that
Yeah,
happens,
I
unless you
have
have
always
virtual
said,
reality to plug me
oh
into, then
yeah,
yes. Hell yes, I do not want to die.
like Black Mirror. Woo!
Yeah, just
Um,
plug me in, man. Get me on that matrix.
Up that server, thank you. Yeah, like I've always said to my partner, my family, if I ever get into an accident where I am a vegetable, I cannot communicate. There's nothing there. The chances of me coming back from that are very low.
Hmm.
Please feel free to take that pull.
Yeah,
Like
like, to me there is nothing more terrifying than being alone in my head,
stuck. Yes,
because
I'm with you there, Queen.
I am very pragmatic. I am also very we go back to the whole ENTJ thing. Productivity is a way of life, but it depends on what kind of productivity. It's not a materialist productivity. It's just I have to be doing something all the time unless I'm asleep, which is I'm still doing something. I'm resting, but I'm also doing something in my dreams. I remember my dreams. Um
Mm,
being in my head is not a comfortable place to be 24 hours a day, which is why I do a lot of things, because I'm constantly thinking, I'm constantly coming up with ideas that need to be enacted. And there's nothing more painful to me than thinking, I feel like I'm going to draw a picture and not being able to do that. And I need so much control in my life and the things that I do that I cannot have other people do it for me. It makes me angry because they're not doing exactly what I want them to do.
Oh yeah, I can't cook for her.
She was banned from washing dishes.
I got kicked out of the kitchen.
Like
At
like
Christmas lunch, I got kicked out of my own damn kitchen in my own damn house.
Hey, I had you
Because
help a little bit.
I didn't peel the eggs right, and it took chunks out of the egg.
Okay, funny story about eggs.
I know what you're going to say.
Greta has a thing about thieving eggs, thieving hard-boiled eggs that I have peeled for dinner. It was I was cooking something that needed many hard-boiled eggs because people were coming over, and she kept on ninjaing her way in and just like floop, disappeared. And I'm like, wait, there was 5. Now there is 4. Either I have a poltergeist or there's a fat piece of shit coming into the kitchen stealing my eggs. Fast forward to weeks and I made congee. And with congee, a lot of us Asians eat salted egg, which is not something you just pop into your mouth. You take little bits of it and you eat it with the congee or whatever because it's very
Considering
salty.
my picture is a duck on most of my stuff, I'm white as hell. Just the background there. White as hell.
So so Greta was coming into a rude awakening one day where I was peeling and deshelling duck eggs, and she was like, I'm gonna theft some eggs. And then I saw her at the corner of my eye. She
I
picked
remember
up
you
a
going,
quarter.
no, and I went and thought, oh, I must move faster.
And before it's like okay, you know when you have a 2-year-old, it doesn't matter whose 2-year-old this is. You just acquire them. It can be your siblings, your aunts, whoever, right? It could also be yours. But the minute you say no, they turn on turbo speed. That was Greta. Like if she did a D20 roll on sleight of hand, I did not see her hand move to her mouth. I just
It's
saw
that
egg disappear now in
it's that
mouth.
moment where you ask your dog what's in your mouth. And they run.
The problem is she realized what she did immediately.
I was such a regretful decision because I heard no, and I moved faster and I stuck it in my mouth and they went, oh no.
Oh
Uh,
no. Um
my mouth shriveled up.
my head canon was I told you to swallow it, but I don't remember if you did.
I feel like I did.
Because
I
I
feel
was
like I
also
did.
at that point like I am angry, but also this is funny and this is a teaching experience.
And you
This
were
is a
like, don't waste
teaching
my food,
moment.
bitch. Like, I held that egg, don't you waste my egg. So I was like,
I have a
I'm pretty sure
finite
I did.
I have a finite amount of eggs in my body and outside. Don't waste it.
I'm pretty sure I did swallow it, yeah.
And it was this like, okay, from that day forward, you actually asked before you shoved random things into your mouth. And it was the funniest. There was also one time where to deny Greta from stealing my pizza, I would douse it in chili.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It
We would
only
we would
happens.
share a pizza and I would smash my half, but Shah did not eat as much as like I would eat in one sitting. So she would put hers away and I would see pizza the next day and be like, now did I eat all my bits? Because also I have a memory of the size of a sesame seed and genuinely I'm not just a fat bitch. I also would forget. Uh so I would go and take a piece, but if I saw chili on it, I was like, that's not mine.
It's
That's
very
not
funny.
mine. And your
Basically,
cat would steal my pizza.
I don't
I would go.
remember that.
I remember this specifically because I would take my pizza. I'd go to sit down on the couch to watch something and be like, oh, fuck, I forgot my drink. So I'd get up and go and get a drink and then come back to your cat trying to pull my piece of pizza off my plate. And I'm
don't-
like,
Okay, here's the thing. I don't know where he developed a taste for that. Because at my house currently in Malaysia, he doesn't do that. He doesn't like people food. So I don't understand why he did that in Melbourne.
I have no idea. It was just so funny because he had this Mexican standoff moment with me where like he saw me seeing him stealing my pizza, and there was like this beat of like no one moved for 5 seconds, and then it was chaos, and it was just like basically Benny Hill, yeah. And I yelled, and you were like, "Well, why'd you leave it on the edge of the couch?" And I was like, "Because I didn't think bitch would steal it."
Yes. He does have a like a penchant for chips.
Mm.
I don't
I
know
also
why.
remember one of our friends talking and using his hands quite expressively with a piece of pizza in his hand, and the cat was on the seat next to him, leaning closer and closer, trying to take a bite out of his hand. I
I
do remember that vividly.
I don't even remember that. There's so many weird things that happen
It
that
was
I don't
so funny.
remember because my brain collects information, right? So I don't know if that information is mine, that is like an actual genuine situation that I have been through, especially when it comes to
Mm,
cats, because there's so many
mm.
cat memes.
Yeah, no, that was a genuine one because he looked over and he saw your cat mid mouth open trying to
Wait, was
grab
it
that
Richard?
slice. No. Oh, wait.
Which it has
Yeah,
to
it
be
was either
Richard.
Richard or it was either Richard or Aaron. I can't remember which one. Yeah, I think it was Richard.
No, I don't think Aaron would respond like that. I think it would be either Richard or Yin.
I feel like it was Yin.
It could be Yin
Yeah,
because these
yeah.
two boys have zero chill.
I just remember him looking over at this cat who had its mouth open over his pizza, and he's like, "Excuse," like, and ripping it away, like, no.
Damn it! Almost got
And
the
then,
pizza.
yeah, well, that was, I think, probably. Oh no, it wasn't the same night. We had a couple of nights. My bird fell in the lasagna.
Oh no, that was lasagna day. I felt so bad because I mean, it's hot.
I
It's hot cheese.
I know. I was like, oh no, he's little Pete's. So I took him and I put him in cold water. I was like, he's fine. I swear to God, you'll be fine. He didn't poop on it. You can
Yeah,
eat
yeah.
it.
It's just peeps. It's
He
fine.
jumped.
We're humans. It's fine.
I just remember Richard saying, listen, I don't mind having chicken, but that's a little rare.
Uh, I remember that. Okay, that
Mm,
is seared into my memory, but I don't remember like about to chomp a pizza, Elo.
mm, mm. Oh no, I remember that one. That one was very funny.
Okay, I'm just gonna
Maybe
scrub
because you were
through.
mid combo.
Maybe. I'm gonna scrub through to the middle and
Yes.
play, and this will be the last clip because I have to go and
I have to
shower
go
because
to
I'm a
the
stinky
toilet.
bitch. We'll do one more clip,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you can watch this in your own time because I have it linked.
All good.
Right back on it, but continue to blame the hormones.
Oh,
You'll be like, Liz, why are you always grumpy all the time? Pretty sure that's why it was invented. I think most women know you take the birth control pill at the same time every day for it to be effective. So most women set an alarm on their phone. I do something a little differently. I take my pill every time a baby cries. It's incredibly effective.
I snort that
It might
birth
be too
control.
effective. I've been known to take it 7 times a day. There's a lot of side effects. I don't recommend this for everyone. The first side effect is I'm a lot bitchier. I'm like twice as bitchy. Second side effect, I used to be taller. Just gotta weigh those options. I've been on birth control for so long, I actually don't know my true personality. I might be a nice person. There's no way of knowing. I've been on it since I was a teenager.
Oh,
Part
I
of me
lived
feels
that
like
life.
I should go off it, get it out of my system, find out if I really am a bitch. If I am, not a problem. I'll just go right back on it, but continue to blame the hormones. People be like, Liz, why are you always grumpy all the time? And I'll be like, well, there's a beautiful, thoughtful, caring person deep down inside me, busy killing babies. I don't want to have kids, and I actually don't want to get married. I actually don't believe in marriage, and I feel like more people should feel that way, but apparently it's just me and divorced men. If I ever did get conned into marriage, I'd make a great second wife. Because I don't care. I don't want a wedding. I don't want a ring. I don't even think I need my husband to pay attention to me. Pretty sure I'm just looking for someone to binge eat and watch movies with. If I'm lucky, marriage is a legal boundment for you to have to feed my cat when I'm out of town. Because I am running out of money. I am trying to date, though. I guess. I make eye contact. Is that dating? I mean, I am creeping people out. It is not appropriate anymore. You look down at your phone and move on with your life. I don't believe in love at first sight, which I didn't think you had to say after 14. I thought we all just got it. But you'd be surprised. I meet a lot of people. Like, I met a dude pretty recently that was like, I met my wife 10 years ago. I saw her across the room, and I knew that I loved her. And I was like, that's all well and good, dude, but anybody can love anybody without talking to them. Like, you just got lucky that she didn't have a shitty personality. Because by those standards, I fall in love hourly on the subway. Right?
I think that is where we'll stop. Because otherwise we'll just end up watching the whole thing.
I was gonna say I relate very hard. Like, I don't want kids. I will potentially snort birth control if it means that I will definitely not have them.
I relate so hard to these people. Like, they are my age demographic.
Mm.
And you can
They
see
say
how
that we're no longer having kids or anything because that's too expensive, and people that get kids are now like the ones that used to have exotic pets. So like they have the money and the will to do that.
I'm gonna say yes. But
Yeah,
also I relate. Like, you can see the drastic change in the kind of comedy that I consumed as I progressed through the ages. I always had an affinity for comedy. And as a child, it was very slapstick. You know, you had your Tom and Jerry, and other TV shows at that era. And then
well,
it
it was
just
you that got
progressed.
me into Eddie Izzard.
Oh, I love Eddie Izzard. I'm so happy I caught his show when I did in Melbourne.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please finish your sentence.
Oh, no. I was just gonna be like, yeah, I remember you getting me into that because you were always more into comedy. But even this is different from the comedy that you used to watch when we used to live together. Like, it's changed again.
Yeah, now it's just angry women.
Yeah.
Now it's just angry women. I mean, it's still Monty Python-esque, but now it's just a tirade from angry women, mostly. And you're like, I relate to that. That's really funny because I also feel that pain, but in a humorous way.
Look, man, I just still turn around to people and be like, no flag, no country.
No flag, no country. But we live here. Cake or death. And I will leave everybody who is still watching. Thank you so much for watching. We'll go back to the usual schedule where I am not oversleeping or I have exercise on that day.
You put up with us for so long.
I super apologize to Greta for making her wait so long. And for everybody else, especially Kat, who was like, is this thing still on at 11 o'clock? And I didn't read it. And I was like, shit. I love everyone. I love everybody. And thank you for listening. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Love you.
Bye.